Ted Bundy ties directly to the Silence of the Lambs. And I'll explain all that in a second. But first, we are sitting in the serial killer section of the Cromwell Castle True Crime Museum. I'm actually sitting in an electric chair that was designed to be a mock of the one, or replica of the one that Ted Bundy was actually executed in 1989 in Florida. So Ted Bundy was obviously a notorious serial killer. He was credited with 30 murders. Authorities believe it's as high as 36. He says it's high as 100. Very charismatic, scary killer because how he traversed through society. I had the weird connection of going to FSU, and I actually lived just a few hundred feet from the Chi Omega sorority house, which is where he was eventually caught after murdering, beating women, and also leaving a bite mark that eventually is what put him in prison again and finally kept him there for execution, because he had broken out of prison multiple times before that. Very, very scary killer. If you watch some of his interviews, he has a facade that does not crack very often, but the few times you do see the monster come out, it is terrifying. So he's one of the serial killers that has always been intriguing from a psychological standpoint, just because of how he was able to hide his evil so well and play his family members and the public for a long period of time until he finally just admitted to everything he had done and everything that he was. But again, he does tie directly to the Silence of the Lambs, which not a lot of people know. People know of Ed Gein being tied to Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Psycho. They know of John Wayne Gacy being the inspiration for pretty much every scary clown ever. But Ted Bundy has a very important place in cinema history, and that's what we're going to talk about right now. Silence of the Lambs, the 1991 hit thriller that actually won an Academy Award. Most people don't know that it ties directly to Ted Bundy, and here's how. So if you take 1991, go back in time, Ted Bundy, of course, was executed in 1989, but he spent years before that giving any information he could to authorities to try to extend his life. So this was burial sites, different victims that he could link himself to, any hope at all he could give authorities and victims' families of solving and putting to bed crimes that he had committed over a many years stretch. Ultimately, his time would run out. Now, during that period, a series of meetings that was previously not discussed was his intellectual involvement with the Green River Killer murders. So this was a killer that was killing prostitutes. He had killed over 30 women and did not seem like he was going to stop or had the ability to be caught. So authorities did the unthinkable and went to another serial killer, Ted Bundy, and asked for his advice. They actually gave him case files. They gave him what they knew of the killer, what the victims were like, and they started to pull from the mind of Ted Bundy what he thought this guy was doing. And the crazy part is, he was right. So a lot of what Ted Bundy had said for them to look for actually is what would have caught the Green River Killer. He understood the mentality of someone that was sexually stimulated by killing. He understood what it meant to go and visit victims post-mortem. He had done all these things in his career as a killer and knew that the Green River Killer was likely doing the same thing. And if you see some of those interviews, the most chilling part is he was so defiant, but also proud of his killing, because he basically said someone that would kill prostitutes was lazy, because that's easy. Anyone can pick up a prostitute and kill them, and no one's thinking about them. It takes real skill to find a young woman and convince her to go with you and bring her different places. Like, he thought there was much more skill, much more prestige in that. He wanted to make sure it was known that even though he's facing the death penalty, he was doing whatever he could to escape death, he still needed to have that insight that he was the most prolific killer ever to exist. So it's very chilling seeing that part of him really have to still get that recognition of just how evil he really was. But when you look at those interviews, when you look at what investigators did for the first time in history, that turned into the Silence of the Lambs. That turned into an FBI agent going to a known killer to get advice on another killer. That's where that idea came from. So most people don't understand or don't know those interviews took place. There is now a documentary about that whole part in history. I believe it's called Interview with the Devil. And it's really interesting, though, because that's where that entire story came from initially, was those discussions with Ted Bundy. And at the end of the day, he was right. And the most chilling thing he said was, if you really want to catch this guy, find the next body and don't make it public. Just watch the burial area, because he will come back, just like Ted Bundy used to go back to his victims. And sure enough, that's exactly what the guy did. So had authorities just listened to that one bit of advice, not made the body public, basically just kept watch over the burial site, they would have caught the Green River Killer much sooner than they actually did. And that is how Ted Bundy ties directly to the Silence of the Lambs.